All right, guys, welcome. It is I, Dragos. I'm here with Shahak. Shahak, you wanna? I don't know if any of my viewers or my listeners would know who you are, since they're mostly in Eastern Europe. Let me just move this mic quickly. I'll cut that later, maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us a bit more about yourself, Shahak.
Where do I start? You need to be more specific.
I mean, basically, the Labrador Energy Podcast is about finding out,
Is this how you open it always?
This is how I always
you just
do it.
tell them about yourself.
This is a guy that I know, and then he said like, okay, he basically...
You tell them.
To be on my podcast.
You tell them.
Well, I'll tell you what I know, and then maybe you can confirm or deny.
Yeah.
So I know you were originally from Israel. You're Jewish.
True.
Then you moved to Germany, where you got citizenship.
Yeah.
I know you did. You're working in the media space. You had a show on was it a public TV station?
Yes.
In Germany, which was in German because you spoke German.
Yes.
It was called
Still Speak It.
Still Speak It, of course. It was called Shapira Shapira.
Yes.
It's kind of like a sketch show. Is it a sketch show?
Yes.
I've never watched it. I've watched some things.
It was a mix of between sketch comedy and me doing stand-up.
Okay, I've watched the homosexual thing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one. It was
You
a sketch.
like that?
It was pretty funny. Yeah. It's basically, for those that don't know, it's like a little sketch where it's a little song actually. You record a whole video.
It's a song. It's a music video.
It's a music video
about
where
hummus.
Exactly, hummus. For those of you familiar with hummus,
Yeah.
and he says he's a homosexual.
Yes.
Which is very funny.
Which it's true also.
Yeah, and then I know you also did the Holocaust memorial thing. I know you did that, right?
Yolocaust.
Yolocaust. Yeah.
Yes, that's a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, the Yolocaust, which is basically kind of like a parody of girls taking photos at the Holocaust memorial.
Yeah, I wouldn't say girls.
Okay.
I would say everyone.
People.
Yeah, people. It was. There's this phenomenon that people go to the Holocaust Memorial here in Berlin, and they take selfies of themselves, which is, I guess it's okay, but some of them just take it too far.
Right.
You know, they start barbecuing there, doing yoga.
Is that barbecuing at the Holocaust Memorial?
Yeah, right. Dude. People with mountain bikes just riding the thing.
Okay.
It's insane.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah, if you ask the security there, they're gonna bitch about it. I mean, for obvious reasons,
right.
Because they're not bitch. They're gonna complain. They're gonna tell you
the
whole story about how annoying that must be.
You think people have twerked at the Holocaust Memorial?
I'm confident. I'm confident. One of the girls one of the people,
right?
whose photos I used was, so she was doing a handstand.
Okay.
On one of these things. Those I don't know what it's called in English. I wouldn't say stones, but stills.
Okay.
I think is the word, or I just came
stills,
up
like
with
the things you kind of stand on.
The stones.
Okay, the stones. Yeah.
We'll just call them stones, whatever.
Right.
So she was doing a handstand on it, and she was the only one from the people whose photos I used that actually got angry at me and threatened to sue me. And she was like, "This is my art. It's my art to do this."
What, handstanding on monuments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she wanted to like copyright something, or?
I'm not sure. It was her art,
right.
And she was very upset, like white girl upset.
Oh, gotcha.
This is my art.
She Karen'd.
Yes.
It's like a Karen in the process of becoming more Karen.
Yeah, basically. There were no... you wouldn't call them Karens back then, but
right.
She was like...
Becky.
I studied art.
I see.
Like that.
Okay, so that's kind of what I know, and I know I know because you do stand-up comedy on the English scene here in Berlin. You also do stand-up comedy in German?
Yes. Not anymore, actually. I mean... I haven't been doing any since...
Couple months?
Since we started doing comedy again.
Oh, right, okay. So like basically June-ish? We started doing comedy again in June.
No, did we?
Yeah, end of May, June, I think.
We haven't been doing this for that long, right?
Yeah,
we just started back.
It just feels like, because we have so much stage time here, it feels like it's been a long...
I haven't done German comedies. I mean, I did one mic. I accidentally signed up for it.
Okay.
When it all started getting back. So after because of Corona, all the mics shut down, so we couldn't do any comedy.
Right.
Anyone for like 3 months.
Yeah, it was 3 months and a half, I think, almost 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, before the shutdown, so I was supposed to go to America.
Mm-hmm.
I had a trip set up to New York.
Right.
I had gigs at really cool clubs like Gotham and Caroline's and Broadway Comedy Club.
Right.
And exactly the day my flight was supposed to leave, that was the day when Donald Trump put the travel ban in motion.
Okay.
Yes.
So you potentially could have been in the situation where you were stuck in the U.S. with no comedy.
Possibly,
in New York.
yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man. I could have done some comedy before that. Now, I guess actually all the mics, all the shows I was supposed to do, they got canceled.
Right.
I mean, they were while I was telling them that I'm not gonna be there, they were still fairly confident that it's gonna happen. They're like, "Oh, we're New Yorkers. Nothing can, can't stop us." And and then they noticed that they can be stopped pretty easily.
Yeah, pretty easily.
It's global pandemic.
That's it doesn't matter how big of an ego you have, you get shut down.
Yeah, Corona had no respect for the New York comedy scene.
No respect for the culture.
Yes,
for the comedy scene, for this beloved profession.
Yeah. Just
all right.
Did not give a fuck at all.
So basically, that was like how long were you planning on being there for?
Not long. I think 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
But I don't know. I wanted to test it out to see if I could. I don't know. Try and make a move.
How the material
for
kind
America.
of gotcha for the purpose of stand-up. For the purpose of stand-up in the US, or okay.
Yeah, I mean I've been there before in New York, did stand-up there, but it was very hard to get on stage. I've been there only for 2 days.
Right.
And it was very hard to just simply get on stage.
Right.
And a shitty open mic was already a challenge for itself.
Right. Because there's so many people doing stand-up there, right?
Yeah, there's too many comics for the audience, right? There's you have to pay to get on stage in New York as a basic. Like if you're no one,
right?
If you're just starting out, you have to pay.
How much you have to pay?
I don't know, like $5.
Okay,
10 maybe.
Just to get on.
Just to get on, and then you sit in a room full of other comics. Like there's no real audience.
Right,
that's a luxury for them.
Right.
So you would play for a room full of comics.
Right.
In a basement, which is kind of I never understood it because they could just meet up at someone's
house and just do it for free. Yeah. Well, I guess it's the element of like, what if I get discovered?
Yeah, but there's nobody there to discover you.
Yeah. Because I think that's one of the. I mean, I was talking to one of these dudes from New York as well who runs a podcast there, and you're saying like. The culture there is, there's a career progression, right? For stand-up is you can potentially, someone sees you and you might get a writing gig. If you're like a really good writer, you can write for one of the late night shows, or you can start writing for some of the Netflix stuff that they recruit writers from the comedy pool. Whereas obviously here, it's not the same situation because a lot of the media is in German.
There's no such thing as recruiting in German show business.
Right.
Like you never see agents go to shows or something like that.
No scouting.
No, there's no scouting. Not that I know of, at least. But yeah, I guess for that, some of the shows I was on were like those kind of new talent showcases, like at Gotham. So it says, the description says it's a bunch of people from the industry.
Right.
I assume it is. I don't know. I guess your best shot is to go on one of these. From what I understand, they're very, like they check. You have to have a laugh every 15 seconds or something. Right. They're very
the LPM.
thorough.
Yeah,
very performance oriented.
Right. Yeah, I haven't done. To be honest, I went to the US, but when I went there, I didn't actually get the chance to. I hadn't done stand up at the time. I hadn't done, so I was just kind of traveling. It was like 2000. I think it was 2015 or something. Just before I started doing stand up, and the clubs were pretty cool. It was pretty nice. The vibe is the much bigger in size as well, because you get like 200, 250 people kind of in a room. Whereas here, we have 40, 50. But
there's some big shows.
Yeah, I mean, what's the biggest one? Cosmic, I think, is 120. I think they can fit there pre-pandemic.
You mean a club? Isn't Laughing Spree one of the biggest?
It's big. Yeah, we can also like pre-pandemic. We've had like up to like 100, 110 there.
Yeah,
which is good amount of size in terms of audience. But I think at the moment we have the best stage time in the world. You hear that?
That's true.
In the world, Berlin is this.
You don't know, man. Maybe like there's a Scottish place. In Scotland.
There is actually. They have very few open mics in Edinburgh. I was talking to. I don't know if you remember Flo. She was like this comedian from I think she was Irish, and she was here in Berlin last summer, and then basically she was on an exchange. She was performing here, and then now she's back in Edinburgh where she's studying. And I asked her like, well, how's the mics? It's like they get like 3-4 a week. Because I think Edinburgh only comes alive with stand-up when the Fringe happens, which the Fringe got cancelled this year.
Yeah.
So that's no bueno for a lot of people that had bought, whatever the fuck advertising. They started printing shit.
To be honest, I was kind of happy. I don't want to say happy, relieved. I know it's shitty, but I was like, because I was like, I'm gonna go, and then it got too late, and I was too, I don't know, I didn't get to organize anything,
Didn't sign up.
and then they were like, oh, it's canceled. I'm like, oh,
Good.
Well, I was planning on going, but now I can't. Oh boy.
It's a valid excuse, yeah.
Yeah, now I can't go. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's like, when it's like, when it's sunny outside, but you just want to stay at home.
Right, and it starts raining.
Right, and it's like, because in Germany, like every day that it's sunny, it's like a gift from God, from Jesus,
from German God.
Yeah, from Allah.
Allah, yeah.
you have to go out and use it, right? That's why you see Germans are obsessive about, like, every time it's summer, even before, like, as soon as it's sunny, it can be like 14 degrees Celsius, and you see them trying to barbecue.
Right. Head to the lakes.
Yeah, they're because they know that there's not a lot of time left. But yeah, and sometimes it just feels great when it starts raining.
But have you been to the Fringe before?
No.
Okay, it's pretty wild.
I just started doing English comedy intensively. I haven't been doing it for.
Okay, well, how long were you doing German comedy before for?
I'd say 2.5, 3 years.
How'd you snuck into that area? Were you trained as an artist in Germany?
Well, so I started doing stand-up after I wrote a book, my first book, and when it got out, I had to do readings, book readings. Right, and I never understood that. I never understood why people would pay the same price as the book cost just to come to hear me read it here. Like,
is this a German thing? I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, book readings.
Really?
Yeah, reading tours. I don't know. People go.
I've no book signing where people go and, like, you get the.
No. This is like a reading. Like, you just you go on stage and you read parts of your book.
Interesting.
Yeah, but also, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, my German is not that. No, it's fine.
You're fluent in German, obviously.
Yeah, I wrote 2 books. It's fine.
Yeah. German's not that great. I wrote 2 books.
No, but like, I never got why people would want to pay money to hear me read for like 2 hours. So I started combining it. I did I mixed reading and doing stand-up, and just playing some stupid songs on my guitar.
Gotcha. What was the book about? The first book
was autobiographical.
Okay.
So the thing is, it's weird. Basically, I think it was 2015, 2016.
Okay.
I got attacked in the metro in Berlin.
Okay.
Yeah, it was New Year's Eve, and I went in with a couple of friends. It was 2 a.m.
Right.
And so I see a bunch of young Arabs. Like 7 of them, and they were singing "Fuck Israel" and "Fuck the Jews," and like, clapping, and the whole train is full. Nobody's saying shit, right? So I told them, I asked them to stop, and it kind of escalated. They attacked me, and then a lot of people tried to use that, not only in Germany but also in Israel too. They tried to use that to use me, to incite hatred towards Muslims, which I did not like, and then I was in the media for so I had to get my own. I had to talk for myself. People were trying to take away my voice. I had to stand up for myself, and so I was in the media for 2 minutes, and then this publisher read about me, right? So they found out my brother was attacked by neo-Nazis here. My grandfather, one of them survived the Holocaust, and the other one died here in Munich in the Olympic Games. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Seriously? Well, so there was.
I mean, I know I've heard about the Holocaust. It's it's been brought up a couple of times.
Yes, not the Holocaust. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have that in Romania.
The Holocaust?
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of people. It's not as. It's interesting to say. We know World War and the Holocaust happened, but it's not as present in. I guess it doesn't get mentioned as often as it does, as you hear about it here. Obviously.
That makes sense.
Because I think everybody's Christian Orthodox. There's very few.
I mean, people in Asia, in India, don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Here, Hitler is kind of he's like a pop cultural figure.
Really?
Yeah. They have Hitler shops and stuff like that in India.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cool. What do they sell? Full mustaches? Little,
I don't know what they're doing.
little
It's
bands.
yeah, it's like a brand. He's like a brand.
Hitler noodles.
Yeah, you know this episode of The Simpsons where they found out that Homer Simpson is a personality in Japan, and there's a cereal brand
I think I've seen it.
named after him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of with Hitler in India.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, my other so one of them survived the Holocaust,
Right.
but the other one, he was one of 11 athletes that were kidnapped and murdered in the Olympic Games in Munich by Arabic terrorists.
Really?
Yeah, in 1972.
What? I didn't know about this. Yeah, never heard of
Yeah,
it.
it was a big thing.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds pretty.
So what happened was Olympic Games, right? Munich,
Right.
First time since last Olympic Games in Germany, were in Berlin.
Right.
Hitler was kind of yeah.
You know, he was kind of hanging around,
Yeah, so it was like
eating
Germany's-
cornflakes.
Yeah, so Germany was like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna show the world.
Yeah, yeah.
we'll
We're back,
change."
guys. Yeah,
we're
different-
back, but
different.
we're better. You know,
We're better, yeah.
New hair, new me.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they were, and they called it the heitere Spiele. I
Right.
don't know what heiter means, and the jolly games.
Right.
The jolly games. I know it sounds stupid, but no, it sounds just as stupid in German.
Right.
There were so there was a bunch of athletes from all over the globe.
Right.
An Israeli group of athletes was there. One of them was my grandfather. My grandfather was he used to be a runner in the 50s
Right.
in Israel, and he ran track, and then
Okay.
he was a trainer. So he was the light athletics head coach
Gotcha.
of the Olympic Committee, and a bunch of terrorists. They're called Black September.
Right. Okay.
So they, the same time, they start making a connection to some, actually some far left. I think it was Rote Armee Fraktion.
Okay.
Was a extreme left terrorist organization.
That was a German extreme left organization.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and they cooperated with Palestinians, with lots of terrorists
Right.
in the Muslim world.
Right.
So they kind of helped them get the guns, right? And they arrived to Munich, and what they did was they entered the Olympic. How do you say the Olympic village?
Village.
Yes, it's the Olympic village, and there wasn't a lot of security because Germans were like, "No, we don't want to.
We're chill guys. We're changed.
We're changed.
Yeah.
No secure. We don't need.
Yeah, no,
we're fine.
Let's have some
fine.
flowers.
Nobody wants to kill Jews, right?
Right. We've ascertained that.
Yeah.
We're good.
So Palestinians go in,
Plot
right?
twist. Plot twist afterwards.
What?
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
The terrorists go in, and they manage to take 11 of the athletes hostage, right? Some of them get murdered at the attempt. Some of them manage to free themselves, right? Because they're athletes, right?
Yeah.
So there's a bunch. I mean, the guys have guns, but those guys are fucking weightlifters. They're Israeli weightlifters.
Yeah.
They just, some of them survived the Holocaust,
Right.
and they're lifting weights. Back then, athletes were not like 15. They were so some of them were, I don't know,
45.
40. Yeah, they fought wars. Those fuckers, right? So they lift weights. So some of them, right, managed to flex their way out of it.
Really, just like ugh.
Yeah, no. Some of them. There was one of them. I wish I knew his name right now. I don't want to take the wrong name, but some of them actually died.
While flexing?
While allowing others to escape.
I see that they sacrifice themselves.
Those guys were fucking heroes, man.
Right.
They were. It takes a lot of balls.
Yeah, for sure. Like it sounds like this guy had at least 4.
Yeah, they were.
It's a lot of balls.
Yes. But 11 of them were captured in the apartment, right? German police, no fucking clue how to deal with the situation, right? Because they don't know terror. They have no idea how to handle it.
Right.
Israel offers help. They're like, no, we're good.
Right.
Which they weren't.
Public embarrassment, they don't want to admit.
Yeah, it was so crazy. You could see like even the press, the way the press behaved. You can see there's an attempt of the police, German police or command or army forces to free the hostages, And so you see a guy trying to get to the apartment from the roof, and the stupid journalists are filming it live. So the terrorists are sitting there, opening the TV, seeing the guy on the roof. They're like, I see. Just close the window.
Yeah.
Close the window, Ahmad.
Right. Hamza, go to...
She closed the window.
Right.
Yeah, I'm seeing it live right now.
Wow, that's pretty intense, man.
It's fucking... So they... eventually, the terrorists managed to get the hostages to Fürstenfeldbruck.
Right.
It's an airport close by to Munich. And the German police wanted to free them with 5 snipers. And by snipers, I mean those guys never held a gun before, except for the weekends. They were in Schützenverein. That's like sports.
Gotcha. They're shooting discs. Boop.
Yeah. So one of them got murdered, and obviously all the hostages.
Wow. All the hostages got murdered. Wow,
all the hostages.
What a fucking...
Some of them died because of the bullets of the German police.
Wow.
The terrorists eventually they started, self-cannibalizing, like they threw grenades into the into the choppers, helicopters where the hostages were. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking intense. Never heard of it before.
Yeah, man. It was,
so that's all in Shahak's book. Okay. Not the best,
some of it.
Plug.
Yeah.
So then the publisher was like, "Hey, you got a pretty cool story. You want to tell it, or?"
I'm not sure you use the word cool.
I mean, yeah, probably cool is not the right word.
But yes.
Intense.
They felt like there was a story to be told.
Right. Yeah, interesting how that basically, did you feel like you had to stand up to those guys singing "Fuck Israel" on the metro because of that, or?
No, I don't know. I got so much shit from neo-Nazis and Arabs in Germany. I kind of at some point
you just boiled up.
Yeah, you're like
But how do they know to give you shit?
Get tired of it. You get fed up with shit.
This is very good. How do they know to give you shit? Like, did they know you were a Jew, or do they?
Well, the neo-Nazis knew,
right?
Because they have a radar.
They got a radar. It's like the gaydar, but for.
No, look. When I came to Germany, I came to this small village.
Right.
It was very small in the east of Germany. The NPD, the neo-Nazi party, had the highest quote there.
Okay.
In the whole Bundesland, in the whole state. So people knew who you were and what we were. Yeah, people knew who I was. They knew my name was weird. They knew I had an accent. I didn't speak any German at first, right? And still people do, although it's weird, right? Because I'm the face of white privilege.
Yeah.
But now people know because I'm like, I'm a person of...
people know you.
I have some fame. I have a little fame.
Yeah.
So people know. But people also notice. They hear, hey, your accent is like... It's not weird. They can't tell where it's... But there's something off.
They know it's this guy.
There's something off about this guy.
Right.
His name is weird.
Shapira,
what's up with that? Yeah. Is that Indian? Are you an Arab? What's going on?
Yeah. All right. So they just kind of send you private messages. Hey, Shahak, fuck you. Or was it physical, face-to-face kind of harassment from the neo-Nazis?
Oh yes, it was. There wasn't a lot of internet back then.
Okay, gotcha.
So you had to
just deal with.
If you wanted to be racist to someone, you had to go
put in the effort.
Yes, you had to put in the effort. You couldn't didn't have Twitter for that.
Right.
You have to walk up to them face to face,
Right.
And do a Hitler salute.
Really?
A bunch of times, yeah.
Wow, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, but now it's
Has that happened recently? Now I'm assuming you just get online hate mail, right?
Oh, it's more than that. My mom was under police protection for 3 weeks.
Recently?
It was last year, or 1.5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. People were threatening to murder my family.
Because of the show, or the book, or what sparked it?
Just neo-Nazis don't like me. I don't know. I don't know why. I think I have the looks, I think. Okay. I don't know why they don't like me. No, I do sometimes. I do things to piss them off.
Antagonize them, yeah?
Yeah, I think one of the things that pissed them off a lot was I did this. We have a satirical political party in Germany. It's called Die Partei.
Okay.
The party.
Right.
And I cooperated with them. What I did was we infiltrated. So the AfD, AfD is kind of like the Nazi light party.
Yeah, Nazi light.
Nazi light party of Germany. So they have built up a network of secret of hidden Facebook groups.
Right.
Right, where they would spread propaganda and hate and fake reportages and fake tweets and shit like that. And it was a big network. It was about 180,000 members.
Wow, that's fucking insane. What?
Yes, and they were running it. So it was the people who were running it were actually politicians of the AFD, which is legally forbidden for them to do that. It's illegal. We managed to infiltrate those groups, and we managed to convince the admins to give us to make us admins too.
What the fuck? How did you do that?
Persistency and their stupidity. So when they did that, we kicked them out of their own groups, and then we changed them. You know, one of them was Heimatliebe, what's that? Homeland love. We changed it to Homoslav, shit like that.
That's pretty funny.
Yes, a lot of our members got fan groups.
Gotcha.
You know, so we kind of infiltrated their groups.
That's pretty funny.
Made a mess. Yes, it was funny to us. Neo-Nazis did not like that.
Sounds like they would be pissed off.
Yeah, and someone doxed me. They managed to find out the address of my mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Google was not very helpful with that shit. Because they, you know, people just put private infos and Google just takes it, and you try to tell, hey, Google.
Yeah, you can scrape it or whatever.
People might get hurt, and they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit. They don't even answer you. Right. So yeah, my mother was under police protection. I had to, you know, hide my address and shit like that. It's the usual stuff for everybody who's too liberal in Germany. Right. Okay. Shit, that's pretty insane, man. 180,000 people in these groups. Yeah. That is insane. Yeah. You kind of forget that. I mean, I think my experience with discrimination hasn't been nowhere near as pronounced there. I had like a couple of people say nasty thing about Romanians in the UK. Like in the UK, there was this documentary called "The Romanians Are Coming," which was basically about how, you know, Romanians are coming over to take benefits and whatever. So there was like a lot of propaganda from like the Sun and some other shit there. And a lot of my friends kind of got a bit of like, you know, ugly stares and stuff. But it's difficult to point out a Romanian from a Polish, you know. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of subtle racism too. Yeah. I mean, some of it is not subtle at all. Yeah. But it's always like a very arrogant way of it's looking down. Yeah, but Eastern Europeans. Yeah, exactly. Eastern Europeans. That's why I say, like, you know, oh, not white, dirty white. They have that joke. It's weird. Like, everybody feared Jews. Right. Jews are always the ones that are running things in the background. Right. And like Eastern Europeans or Arabs, they're always the ones who are like filthy. Right. I don't know. They have to be domesticated. Right. Shit like that. Right. But I think the view is that they're necessary, because who else is gonna build the buildings and shit? Like, they're necessary for like for example within the UK, for at least from my experience, a lot of the construction workers were Romanian, right? In Israel too. Oh yeah, really? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Made it. Yeah. You guys made it to Israel. Like, there's a whole bunch of cliches. And it's like, because that's why I say like the Mexico of Europe, like even like with the German with the asparagus thing, right? A lot of people are coming to pick the asparagus, and the asparagus seekers were Romanian and Bulgarian. But in Germany, are there many Romanian construction workers in Germany? Because I feel like you can always, a lot of countries, you can always see that they have like people who they consider lesser to do their shitty jobs, right? Like in America, it's the Mexicans. In Israel, it's like Romanians. Right. But in Germany, Germans Germans do construction work. I think it's not as much construction work in Germany. In Italy, it is construction work and like, you know, painting and whatever. I think in Germany it's more like farm work and like working in the abattoirs and like more like supply chain. With the Spargel and shit. Exactly. So like, it's a lot of big communities in South Germany, like Karlsruhe. Germans love construction, right? They don't want to share this with others. I'm a civil engineer. Yeah. I am the civil engineer. So they don't do the construction work here. I think they don't trust foreigners too. Which is probably... They're like, no, I would like to construct this metal construction. I believe I know what I am doing. Yes, it has all the TÜVs, all the TÜVs. Exactly. So then, like, but then when it comes to like picking, you know, fucking asparagus, there's so many TÜVs. What the fuck is a TÜV? TÜV? You don't know what TÜV is? Bro, my German is nicht. TÜV is like the seal of like that shit fucking works. Oh, okay. No, I didn't know. That's how they call it. The TÜV, the seal of shit. This is approved, Yeah, TÜV approved. Approved. Why am what accent am I going for here?
Went straight out German.
TÜV. They have like there's so many. TÜV Saarland, TÜV Münster, TÜV fucking I don't know Sachsen. No, I don't.
Whatever.
Yeah. Lots of TÜVs.
TÜVs.
Like everything a German has in their home has to be TÜV approved.
Right. I don't know. In that situation, like I said, I hear it's mostly like farm work and like working behind the scenes in terms of cutting meat, killing cows. Whatever they kill and stuff, but it's mostly South Germany for whatever reason. It's like a big part of that Munich area up to like Cologne. That area is like there's a lot of Romanian speakers. I know this because there's a lot of Romanian comedians.
Yeah, well, they don't. I don't think any Romanians want to go to Sachsen.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like they'll have a lot of good time there.
No, they won't.
They're not at all.
Probably won't. I mean, they're probably not gonna have a much better time in other parts.
Right.
But in some parts.
But I know this because so they speak German, they speak Romanian, but they don't speak English. Hence why I can't go do shows there, because I don't do comedy in Romanian, so it can't work. But I know the Romanian comedians, sometimes they do shows there, and there's like 400, 500 kind of like little theaters being sold.
Oh.
Yeah, they have like it's a good area for Romanian comedians to perform. Because at the moment I think Romania has like about 4 million people that live outside of Romania. And most of them are like in England, Spain, Italy, and then now Germany as well, and France as well, some areas. So there's the diaspora, especially in London, the diaspora is very...
You know what a lot of people do? They go study medicine in Romania.
This is true.
Israelis.
Yes.
A lot of Israelis go there because your bar is so low.
For entry or?
Yeah.
For getting qualified as a...
Yeah, because it's a very low bar, but it's still Europe.
Right.
Right. So
I mean, there were a lot of... When I went to did some shows in Romania, there were a lot of the people at the shows, they were Jewish. They were from Israel.
I bet it is. I bet the bar isn't low at all. I bet it's like... I bet you guys have better internet than here and shit like that. And
nice pullback. Nice pullback.
No, I don't care. I can be shitty to Romania.
But the point is, it's cheaper. It's also cheaper, I think.
But it's, sometimes you would think a country is like way less developed than it actually is. A lot of people think that about Israel.
Right.
But just because it's in the Middle East, they think we're like everybody else in the Middle East.
Right.
Which, I mean, you can't blame them.
Right.
But we're like
quite advanced. I know
we're fucking high end.
Yeah, it's very very famous for like cybernetics and like cyber defense and
oppression. But
you gotta mix them together.
Somebody has to build that shit.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. There's a lot of defense.
Just kidding.
Companies.
They're not building anything.
There's a lot of IT companies out of Israel. A lot of them focus on like cybersecurity. I know.
Yes. All distraction.
But anyway, have you been to Israel recently?
I haven't been to Israel in like almost 10 fucking years.
Okay, so again, there's a lot of Israelis watching this, like Shahak is talking shit about us.
They know I love them.
Yeah,
sure. I love Israel, but I hate lots of part of it too. I have lots of parts of it.
Never been to Israel, so I can't. But I feel like the most amount of Jewish people I've met has been in Berlin.
Yeah.
Like before, I used to live in the UK. Not a lot of Jews, or they don't you don't bump into them. Used to live in Japan for a while.
Jews or Israelis?
I think Israelis specifically, but not even. I mean, maybe
lots of Israelis in Berlin.
Yeah, Israelis. This is true. Because I think maybe there were some students that were Jewish, but they're from the US.
Yeah.
So they would not.
They like to come to Europe.
Yeah.
They like to come to Israel. They get it for free.
If you go to Israel?
There's a bunch of like Jewish organizations. They bring Americans to Israel.
Like a free flight to Israel?
Yeah, a free trip.
Just to kind of, hey guys, this is
free propaganda trip.
Really? This is
just
next
live
time
propaganda.
In the next elections, remember?
I'm not sure if it's propaganda. I know it's like it's a type of lobbying. Not all kinds of lobbies are bad, right?
Right.
But there's some kind of a Jewish lobby in America, especially. Standing up for Jewish people and for the interests of Israel, whichever they might be.
I know there was
which is necessary, man, because Jews get a lot of shit.
I mean, it sounds like you get more pronounced hate, bro. Like from what you're telling me, like the discrimination against Romanians, kind of like, it's like meh. But like it sounds like
anti-Semitism. We started comparing shit, right? It's like. Yeah, I think white girls are to blame for that.
This is true.
White women were like, "Hey guys, this is horrible, right?" And we were like, "Yeah, but we are suffering too."
This is true. Well, they gotta get allies wherever you can, right? You gotta get allies wherever you can.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the plan. That was the plan all along. Well, let's go back to. So you moved here how old were you?
14.
14. Okay, so you weren't like, that young. You still had like a personality at 14, I guess.
Yes.
Forming.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then...
Yeah.
How long did it take to pick up the German?
I'm still picking it up, man.
Right.
But I had to like...
But did you go to like German high school directly?
Yeah.
Or? Oh shit.
Yeah, I just had to sit there, not understanding a word.
Really?
It was frustrating. I took German lessons, private German lessons every day for 6 months.
Right.
But even at the end of that, I had very basic German.
Right. I mean, not for school, almost educational.
But I managed. I mean, 4 or 5 years later, I graduated like everybody else. Right.
You put in extra effort.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, like, what did you do afterwards? Did you end up working in media directly, or start writing a book, or?
I studied for a month.
Okay.
And then I started working as a designer.
Designer, okay.
Yeah, I had no friends when I came to Germany, and I couldn't really do anything but go online and just play around with Photoshop, build websites. So when I was 17, I had my own business. Started building websites and do graphic design.
For like small businesses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started working at this design agency. And I almost became a pilot.
Okay.
At Lufthansa. Yeah, I applied and I passed through the tests, but I had too many... So when you get a ticket for speeding in Germany, you get points. Flensburg. Right. So it's so you have too much of them, you lose your license. Thing is, if you want to be a pilot, before you start the pilot education thing, pilot school, you're not allowed to have more than 6 points, which is nothing. It's like I don't know. It's like twice running, like speeding on the Autobahn, or just running over one child. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's nothing. I had 7.
seven kids run over. That's a lot of kids.
No, it's nothing, dude. It's,
I know,
nothing.
Has that could disqualify you?
But it was, I had to wait for like 2 years for it to be gone. But that time I didn't. I was like, fuck it. And I got a scholarship at this school. It's called Miami Ad School. It's a great school for advertising. Right. So I studied advertising. Right.
Was it a merit scholarship? How did you get a scholarship? Is the applied for it, or?
I showed them my portfolio, my design portfolio. They were like, yeah, you can pay way less.
Right. Okay, cool. That's good.
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice of them. And so I went abroad. I spent some time in America, in Colorado.
Like exchange kind of thing?
You would do internships at agencies, advertising agencies. So I went to Boulder, Colorado, which is a beautiful place. Then I went to Sao Paulo in Brazil, which is difficult. I went to Sweden, Stockholm.
Which is not as difficult as Sao Paulo.
No, but it gets dark very early and people are very sad.
Right.
It's a different kind of difficult.
Difficult, yeah.
Yeah. Brazilians are great, though. Love Brazilian people.
I agree. Some of my best friends.
Their English is it's very hard to get by in Sao Paulo without any Portuguese.
Right.
Very hard. But the people are great.
Right.
Yes. And then I went back to Germany, worked a bit in advertising, then this whole shit happened.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So then afterwards you transitioned more into media, I guess. You wrote a book, then...
I wrote a book. I wrote 2 books, actually. And I did this Yolocaust project. Yeah. Then I did this Twitter project.
What was the Twitter project?
Well, I started noticing that there's a bunch of tweets, there's a lot of hatred and racism on Twitter that is like that somebody should do something about it. I don't talk about like people calling you a son of a bitch. I'm talking about people wanting to send gays to Auschwitz and things like aggressive
hate.
Yeah, and a lot of like ISIS using it as a recruitment platform. A lot of neo-Nazi organizations using it as recruitment platforms. And I noticed reporting shit doesn't do anything, right? They don't give a fuck. And so I did this project. I reported about 300 tweets, like very nasty, serious,
aggressively.
Hateful. Yes, all kinds of racism, homophobic, sexistic tweets. And basically none of them were taken down or flagged or dealt with in any sort of way. So I took a bunch of them and I spray painted them on the street in front of the Twitter headquarters in Germany.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was chalk spray, so it wasn't illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did they say? Did they take them down?
They said nothing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but they got some copycats, so people in Tokyo printed them out and put it in front of their offices.
Right. So how did that get traction? Did you put it on Facebook, or how did you find about it?
A lot of traction. I mean, Yolocaust was seen by about say 100 million people.
Right.
Overall, and I think this hate Twitter thing almost the same.
Right. Did you have? I don't even know how many followers. Do you have a lot of followers on Twitter?
180,000.
Okay, so you have like a bit of a platform basically for
a bit, yes.
Yeah. Probably follow you.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I feel like my career is like it's a very strange point. It might gonna
transitioning.
Transitioning is generously put. It's either gone, or it is. I don't know. It's gonna restart with me coming up with something.
Gotta think of a new project, bro. Gotta think of a new project.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where I want to be.
So the Twitter thing led to the show, or how did that happen?
The show? No, I was talking about it to the channel for years.
Okay.
And they take their sweet time.
Right.
And then we started doing the show after basically years of talking and piloting.
Right.
We did the first season, which they were happy with. They extended it, and then we did the second season, which worked pretty well. The thing is, the show got canceled after that, which was, they say, because of the ratings.
Right.
Which is not really. I mean, the ratings were not bad at all.
Right.
Well, what happened was. Right before the second season, there was a terrorist attack, a neo-Nazi attack, the synagogue.
Right.
In Halle. Don't know if you heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
So this, another show on the same channel. So I was on ZDF Neo. It's this the daughter channel of ZDF. It's the biggest public channel, I think, in Germany.
Okay.
So the ZDF, they have another show. It's called Morgenmagazin. It's their morning show.
Right.
It's very popular, and they asked me to be on the show right after that that attack.
To talk about it.
Yes, but I notice when people invite Jews to shows in Germany, there's a very specific way of presenting them, like victims, like them being helpless and like very cliche.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I can come and talk about it, but not in this way you might want me to.
Right.
I can give you the perspective of someone who grew up in terror, or of someone who, I don't know. I grew up actually not far away from that guy who went to the synagogue.
Right.
So in Germany.
Right.
Yeah, so they were like, yeah, fine, but no, thank you. And what they did, and I didn't know about this, they say it was planned anyways, so they invited Jörg Meuthen. He's the he's the public speaker of the AfD, the Nazi Party of Germany.
So they wanted to have you on the morning show with that guy.
Yes, or they invited him instead. They claimed they didn't. They claim it was planned long ago. I would have canceled immediately if I knew he was there. So fuck him anyways.
Right.
And I criticized that on social media.
I see.
And they did not like that at all.
Gotcha.
Yes,
you broke rank.
Yes, and that was when the channel started. They were like they didn't say anything specific, right? But the show wasn't advertised very well, right? It was
enthusiasm started waning.
Yes, there was some. We got another how do you say? Another guy that had to look at our shit before it's out.
Right? Like censor kind of
more
thing.
control.
Right.
Yeah, so who knows, but we know.
We know, yeah, see. Okay, yeah, interesting. I think it's kind of like just the fact that, they don't like you criticizing, if we're paying the bills, you're criticizing us, right? kind of situation. People don't like that, which is kind of like basically censorship in a way, right?
It's yes. I mean, it's never. The thing is, that's a problem, right? You can never say it's like 100% censorship or fascism because it's never been spoken out this clearly. You know, it's always nuances now you have to pick up on. But you know, it's like but you can't prove it.
Right. Gotcha.
But it's I think it's horrible.
I mean, you basically got to got to look at the bright side. You got 2 years of experience, running shows successfully.
Yeah, but it feels more like I put a lot of my energy in something that was canceled for a very bullshit reason.
Right. Okay.
Nothing to do with the thing itself.
Let's see. So is that like your end of your current romance with the German language? And you just transition to English, or?
With German comedy?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like I don't feel like I can do a lot for the German comedy scene, to be honest. I feel like some people like my shit. I mean, there's a certain amount of people. If there weren't, I wouldn't have a show. Never had the show to begin with, or wouldn't be able to go on tour. But I feel like the majority of German society is not interested in the kind of humor I do.
Right.
I might, as I say, I mean, obviously I might just be shit, right?
Right.
It's always an option.
Right.
I don't like blaming things on, but I feel, and it's not a race thing or a heritage thing.
Right.
But I feel like
it's a topic thing.
It's a cultural thing sometimes. It's like I still, as German as I am, it's like half of it, basically. I still grew up. My roots are in a different culture,
right.
And my interests sometimes don't align with the interests of the average German person.
Yeah, because you're not the average German person, right?
But the average German person is my audience, is the target audience. If you want to be a big comedian in Germany, which is fine. It's fine. It's just, I feel like sometimes, I don't understand them and they don't understand me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a lot of times basically, even when kind of finding target, like for me, I was thinking about this a while back in terms of like, who's your audience, right? Because the thing is, if you want to go to the point where like the big comedians are, you have to appeal to everybody, right? But that's, a lot of times people just jump on bandwagons, right? So you shouldn't do stuff for like you should find like a little audience and then people jump on that band, but they'll discover it later on.
Yeah, I mean, if you try to appeal to everyone, it's not special anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's just broad.
Right. I don't know, what is the level of German comedy from your perspective? Like, is it, you've done English comedy, German comedy, you think where is it, German comedy?
Well, that's hard to tell.
Is it less laughs, more story? Because I do get a feeling it's more.
I think there's a difference between German comedy and the German comedy scene in Berlin, first of all. I mean, because the German comedy scene in Berlin was very much inspired by the English one. Right. Lots of the people that started German open mics were going to English open mics before. And I'm not sure if the rest of Germany is gonna follow this change, will be interested in it, or just I don't know, reject it.
Right.
You see some big companies and lots of like big comedians coming from Cologne trying to be on the German open mics here in Berlin.
Is that where the German comedy scene is based, Cologne?
So far, yes. Yes, all the TV big German comedy, it's based in Cologne, yes. It might be shifting. Right. Maybe not. But yeah, I don't know. There's some great German comics, obviously.
Are they based in German? I don't know any German comics. I know there's a couple of them, but are they based in Cologne? Are they based in Berlin? Where are they based? Or like, where do they practice material? This is the question, because I think
the people that practice material, most of them are here.
Right. Okay.
Right. And the others, they don't practice in open mics. They practice in their shows.
Right. The actual they're big enough that they do.
Yes.
Gotcha, I see.
Yes. Which is, I guess it's a way to practice, but it always will give you a different impression.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because it's always your audience.
Yeah, it's biased, right? They're paying a ticket to see you practice, which is like they want to laugh already, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could compare it with the other stuff you do in the show.
Right.
But it's always different, obviously.
Right. So let's talk a bit more about English comedy.
Yeah.
Like, you obviously you've spent the past couple of years doing like a sketch show in German. Do you want to go in that direction for English comedy? Do you want to start doing like an online sketch show or something of the sorts? Have you thought about it? Obviously, you're trying new material now at like the open mics.
I don't know what I want to do. I think it's kind of hard to start an English format from Berlin.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's tough. Maybe it's not, but there aren't a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, from what I was seeing to be honest, like if you want to do, my opinion from like doing a stuff in English for Europe is you have to do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, or you have to do it with a global kind of company, or like a YouTube Originals or whatever the fuck they have for Europe. And in that situation, you need to have like network and kind of go in there. But I think they'll also just, start putting money into stuff that has traction already, right?
I think generally, I mean, English comedy in Germany is, it wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
To be
honest, like it's
still not a thing.
Like if you look at the size of the country.
For Americans, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
And English comedy, where it really counts, is still America.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I was listening to like Jim Jeffries podcast as well. Like, if you really want to be on the map with comedy, you have to be in the US.
Yeah. They don't really give a shit about what's happening here. You can see it when they come here.
Right.
Like if you see Bill Burr, Jim Jeffries,
right.
They're not really playing when they play their shows here, they make good shows. I mean, it's great to see them. But for them, it's just a preview.
Yeah. And they're like trying out material. Yeah, they're just testing out stuff.
They don't give a shit. I mean, they play for a huge audience. Yeah. But it's like for them, it's like, yeah.
But even the huge audience that they have here is still relatively small compared to what they do in the US, right?
Yes, because they don't. Obviously, the reason they're doing it is they don't see this place as a market yet.
Right.
Maybe they're starting to see it as a market. But if we're honest, it's still not really. I mean, most of the people that you go watch Bill Burr here are
expats. Yeah,
expats.
That's true. I mean, Tom Segura, for example, when he came here, he had like 500 people maximum in the thing, and he does like 5,000 easy in the US.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what's the what is there for Berlin comedians to do from your perspective? The English comedy scene here. What should we do? If you were to throw some opinions out in there.
I think a lot of it is preservation. To make sure it doesn't go to shit, right? Because there's a good thing going on here, right? But you need to make sure it doesn't happen, that it doesn't turn out like New York, right? That people do things out of greed and use it to, I don't know, to make money off of the energy of people starting out. You have to make sure it doesn't turn into this. Obviously, like every comedy scene, to this racist,
right, doesn't go down this
stuff. But also at the same time, you have to make sure it doesn't turn into I don't know,
cesspool. What do you mean?
No, like a place where you can't, like where there's no freedom of.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not saying freedom of speech but freedom of humor.
Right. Freedom of humor is a good kind of line.
There's I mean, there has to be space for people to be comfortable among each other without someone being offended about everything, and without it turning into this thing where everybody just feels uncomfortable,
right.
Because it's
it's so policed.
Yeah, you always think it's uncomfortable you always think the discomfort in those topics is for white heterosexual male people. It can be also very uncomfortable for people of all colors and shapes and sexual orientation, because it's just sometimes you don't want to be offended at shit. You just want to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's true, and I think sometimes you just want to have a chill.
And a lot of people have been talked into feeling angry, and I think it might. I don't know. I can see why you would do this for the cause, but sometimes you have to think about the people themselves. I've had this conversation with a couple of comedians about what is the purpose of the comedian? It's to entertain, right?
because I've spoken to a couple of comedians who are like, no, it's about me getting my views out. You can get your views out, but then like, you know, you still have to, like, if they're not funny, if they don't, you know, if they don't make people, they don't bring joy to people, then, or you don't have enough kind of like social capital to be able to have them to listen to you and kind of consider them, then you just go on there and be like, oh, this is what I think about Jesus, or let's say insert whatever you want. Then it just makes them uncomfortable and like, what?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is what I'm thinking at the moment. We were talking about before we recorded about the crowd work and material, right? I think one of the things with crowd work is it just makes the people more relaxed. It makes them feel more involved, and it's just, even though let's say it's less, I don't know, it's less kind of intellectual, you know, like crowd work. A lot of crowd work can be just like, you know, low hanging fruits. Oh, you guys on a date, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but it's fun. So
yeah,
who gives a shit, right?
Exactly.
I feel like in the mics, especially some of the mics you and Chris organize, there's this, or at Cosmic sometimes, there's this atmosphere that you can't find in German open mics. Yeah. There's this atmosphere. Everybody's from someplace else, and it's fun to talk about it, and it's funny, but nobody gets offended. Insulted. Yeah. Nobody leaves feeling like, oh man, they really
punched down on me.
I should have said something. Right? It's always like everybody leaves with a good feeling.
Yeah, everybody knows we're just having fun,
we're just fucking around. Yeah, and people like it, and they don't feel like people were punching down on them, but they feel acknowledged because people were talked about, you know. People showed interest.
Exactly. People, you know, people know more about yourself. It's more like sharing than like.
Yeah, I feel a lot of times there's a specific part of wokeness that encourages people to not be interested at all in other people, just for the sake of not saying anything wrong.
Right.
But sometimes it's just about, you know, you want to be acknowledged. You want people to be interested in your culture.
I was talking to, you know, especially for me, like as Romanian or Eastern European, like you never hear anybody talking about Romania, like from outside, right? So whenever you hear it, you're like, oh shit, someone's acknowledging.
You talk about places I never knew even existed, right? Fucking Estonia with their Jesus horse shit, like
that's Macedonia.
whatever.
Estonia, that's the fish Jesus. It's completely different.
But look, but there's a Macedonian dude at the audience. Like, holy shit! I mean, I don't even care.
Exactly.
If he's making fun of us, like, how the fuck did he find out about horse Jesus?
You know? Exactly. Yeah, so I think that's one thing that we're kind of doing well here, and I think, you know, let's see.
And it needs to, I don't know, the world needs to see it somehow, right?
For sure. And I personally started to do more cultural stuff as well, but again, it's a line between like how much I've kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of feel a bit like I'm doing a lot of Russell Peters type of material. You know Russell Peters?
I know Russell Peters. I don't know a lot of his material.
When Russell Peters was one of the first early truly global comedians, he blew up with with YouTube.
But Andrew Schultz does a lot of that too.
Yeah, he does a lot of crowd work in that direction.
Yeah. And I mean, the people who are really good here in doing crowd work, they always go to that direction. Right? Tyrone does that a lot. Because he's also an international guy. Tyrone Stallone.
Yeah, shout out. Follow him. Follow him on social media.
Who else is good at crowd work? Paul Solomoni.
Paul is good at crowd work,
Right. Who else is? They always tap on those.
You have to tap because you have so little to work on, right? You don't know the people. You have to connect with what you have, right?
Yeah, and it's always people that have been to a lot of countries and study a lot of cultures.
They come from a informed place, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Ryan Spalding, he tours through Europe. I've never seen him do crowd work, but I mean, I bet he would be able to tell you a bunch of interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's spent time in Croatia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's Croatian.
I bet he can tell you everything about Croatian men.
Yeah, definitely.
Like amount of pubic hairs by the number.
And also Turkish men.
Turkish, all kinds of men. All kinds of men.
And people like it. That's why
Greek ghost men.
For sure.
That's and his expertise, you know, he's like...
That's why he's doing, I think he's really found a really good niche to kind of... He's doing really well recently, so good on him. But
he's one of the people that has an English format from Berlin.
Right? Online, exactly, But it's also, he's like plowed years into that. He's been doing it for years. So it's not like I think you can say that it's just happened. It's just,
as you fucking should.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hard work,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, I think what the scene needs is obviously like every scene, it needs more of a community, right? It could use some of that,
Right.
but it also has some, I don't know. It would be great to put Berlin on a map, on
a comedy map.
On the comedy map. I think you need the internet for that.
I think it's not there yet. It's not.
I think you need the internet for that. I think because people have no fucking clue what's going on here.
They started slowly finding out. I think continentally people started finding out. I mean, obviously the European scene is not on a global map for comedy, but I think now more and more people from the UK are starting to understand, especially since now basically all the open mics are shut down in the UK. And essentially, we're managing the page for Laughing Spree. We're getting more and more messages about, hey, we're traveling to Berlin because we don't have any. We want to do some stand-up. We want to do some gigs.
Yeah, man. And I mean, everybody all the comics that come here from other places are being welcomed with open arms.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
They get to do all the mics. Not unlike in other scenes.
Yeah. They definitely get priority at the mics.
Although when Paul and I were in Japan,
right.
People helped us out.
Yeah.
But it's because we hit up people from the English comedy scene here. And they connected us with people there, right? So it's also about building a network.
Yeah.
But I think if the scene worked more as a collective, right? As long as there is still the chance, as long as it's small enough,
right?
Some things could be achieved.
Yeah, I think it's still gonna take like 10 to 15 years until it's on an actual map. I think like a proper map. But
it depends, man. I mean, the internet obviously accelerates
things. Yeah.
A lot of things.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I know, for example, in Hong Kong.
Look how many TikTok followers you got in a month.
Bro, 45, 45,000 now.
45?
But 35.
35. It was 20,000 when I...
Yeah, it went up last time we spoke,
yeah.
It's technically 44.8.
I didn't know there were that many Romanians.
It's not. I think it's 55%. I was looking at the analytics the other day. It's 55% is Romanians, and now the rest 45.
You have a great work morale. Right?
Yeah, you have to do something every day. You have to put something every day.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have the drive I used to have, and I lost it. Somehow.
I mean, I was telling you before. I think one of the things you need to do, you need to start your own mic. You need to just start your own.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the guys from the wall.
Yeah.
There's an English comedy club now.
Exactly.
That's progress.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Cosmic before.
Right.
But obviously, it's just that, right? It's just the wall and Cosmic. English comedy clubs.
And then just everyone else is around. Like doing like myself, of course, we're doing mics all over the place because where we have 5 venues.
True, but there's no.
To be honest,
no clubs.
Space Medusa is slowly turning into that.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's great, right?
Yeah, it's a great place.
It's slowly go to Space Medusa.
Yeah,
but it's slowly turning into that.
Great shows.
Because they have Tuesdays mics now, then they have Wednesdays and Fridays, and then they also do shows Sundays for people out of town. So that's 4 days out of the week.
Dude, I feel like the Tuesday night, the real show, it's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, it's a fucking amazing show, right?
Yeah.
Gutierrez and David Adams, they fucking knocking it out of the park. Yeah,
it's just a great combination, you know, the music, the jazz. He's a great musician.
Yeah. And then Gutierrez does good crowd work actually. He's a great host.
Yeah. He can sing.
Yeah, exactly. Gutierrez used to be a musician before.
He did? I knew he played guitar.
He used to be he started off a musician in New York. But I think Gutierrez doesn't get enough.
There's a bunch of talented people.
I don't think he gets enough credit for his crowd work. It's very on the spot.
Huh.
Yeah.
I always feel like he's a great. I mean, he gives me shit all the time, so I don't see. He doesn't really. I never see him crowd work because he's always busy giving me shit before he brings me up. But yeah, he always gets he goes on stage and it's immediately there's a
good energy.
Unless if the room is dead for everyone, it's dead for everyone. But
and you have those nights. It's not.
Yeah, but he gets very quickly. He gets the atmosphere. Up there.
And I think that's one of the skills you can, get more confidence. And once you're on your own mic, you can start working on that, and you can play around with different things, and it's a different muscle. I mean, when we hosted that show, you kind of saw it's a bit of a different muscle, right?
Hmm? Yes, especially when you switch languages.
Yeah.
It's I have that muscle in German. Right. I think I do really good crowd work in German.
Yeah, which is probably true.
There's not a lot of chances for me to do it. I do some, which works good, but a lot of it is prepared.
Right.
So I set it up right. I have this thing with a passport that you have a German passport,
and then it kind of.
So I know my way around it. No, I had some great audience interactions in English, but it's never.
I think you did really well at the dark one as well that we did last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
some good stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was only crowd work.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
A big part of it was crowd.
Yeah. No, I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You gotta
getting there.
start a mic, and once you have the mic, you have control of that stage time. And once you have control of the stage time, you can kind of start directing it in the direction you want.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can kind of wrap it up for now. Is that cool? You have any closing remarks you want to add?
Closing remarks, nah.
Let's we'll figure out what happens next time. We'll do one more of these in a couple months and see how things are progressing. But for now, thanks for being on the Labrador Energy podcast.
What is it called? Because of you, right?
The Labrador, I wanted to initially.
That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Because actually, I'll tell you the logic. Initially, I was calling it the Dear Mr. Dragon podcast, but I thought I was too much oriented at me because Dragon, Dragos, whatever.
Oh.
But I wanted to have a format that allowed me to get people from like different walks of life. And then
also dragon is not your spirit animal.
I agree that Labrador is probably better.
Labrador is way more,
much better. So then that's how it kind of came up.
It's better, man. Dragons have a bad reputation anyways.
It's true, yeah.
Everyone
China.
that watched The Hobbit.
Yeah.
China? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I've been doing a lot of jokes about China. I've been thinking, should I scale down my China stuff?
All dragons have corona.
It's true.
Disgusting.
There's a known stereotype about dragons. All right, well, let's wrap it up here. Thanks a lot. Follow Shahak on his social media, Twitter, YouTube. You have a YouTube you want to plug?
I have you just put my name in.
I'll put it there,
in any social media platform.
Perfect. And then you'll find it.
I try to do more English stuff on the social media platforms.
But you're definitely more SEO friendly than I am because you've had a lot more stuff out there.
Yeah.
So they'll find you. Okay, cool. That's it. Thanks a lot and see you next time.
Yes.